Thank you very much. My name is Leminjai, and this is News Review. Thank you for being there. Coming up for you on the show today, security cameras catch two abaya-wearing shoplifters at a store in Serekunda. Sergio Brito has that report for you. Also, a foundation set up by those who form part of 12 Intake 12 of the Gambian Army donate food items to the family of the fallen comrades there. Olala Spa also at the weekend organized a cleaning exercise in Senegambia. We have a report on it, but my guest today will be Nena Gomez. She will be my guest today. For all of that, we will look at what the newspapers are reporting on today. Our Standard newspaper reports that Banki accuses police of harassing his supporters. Planned salary increment is a political gimmick. That's according to Mamadou Sabali. High Court strikes out suit against IGP. Government must review policy on driver's license to reduce accidents. Also, Badibu is a no-go area for NPP. The story is there. Presidential hopeful Bankoli Yao Jojo Ahadji has accused the anti-narcotics police and PIU of targeting his supporters for arrest and harassment. Bangi, as he is widely known, walked into the offices of the Standard yesterday to allege that one of his Wato Sita movement members, Mfamara Silla, was arrested at the Bakau beach site for allegedly being in possession of cannabis. Planned salary increment is a political gimmick. That's according to Modu Sabal. He's saying that the proposed salary hike of the borough administration will be bad for the Gambian economy and disastrous for perceived beneficiaries. Economist and former Presidential Affairs Minister Momodu Sabali has warned. But it was a no-go area for NPP. The spokesman of the United Democratic Party in the North Bank region has dispelled rumors that President Adama Barrow's National People's Party is gaining ground in Badibu. Well, I think that comments were made there by Lower Badibu MP Alhaji Jawara. So he is debunking that, saying, well, that's not true. Also, government must review policy on driver's license to reduce accidents. The manager of Safer Way Driving School, Pate Balde, has called on government to introduce a policy for drivers to undergo training before issuing them license. Let's turn to the Point newspaper and see what they are saying. Mother fears son may kill her. That's their lead story. Barrow visits Qsal, meets Gambian community in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Honorable Salah says Gambia's debt stands at 77 billion. That's $77.4 billion. Impact of COVID-19 on widows in KM. So their lead story is saying Hadi Bayo, a resident of Kanifing Estate, yesterday told the Kanifing Magistrates Court before magistrate filed that she fears that her son, Omar Cham, may kill her. This is a press release saying that the president paid a courtesy visit to the Qsal office there in Freetown. He also held a meeting with Gambians there. And also Khalifa Saleh, the Secretary General and leader of DAI, is saying that the debt burden of the country is $77.4 billion. So according to Salah, this means that even the newly born child carries a debt burden of $38,000. Well, he has broken down that for you there. We'll be right back. Thank you very much and welcome back. So security cameras at a store at the Serekunda market caught two women that are wearing the abaya dress, the Muslim abaya dress, shoplifting. Sergio Brito reports.
A family store in Serekunda that sells different types of African fabric was the scene of a shocking incident on Monday after CCTV footage captured two women in veils pretending to be shoppers, allegedly stealing an approximate staggering amount of 200,000 Gambian dollars. The two women can be seen entering the store with veils on, and once inside, one gets busy with one of the salesmen in the store and acting as a shield, while the other carries out the sinister act. One of the salesmen at the store, Aliu Sohna, said there have been growing concerns of theft at the market the past years, but said things seem to have escalated this year. Whilst they are unable to say exactly how much the unsuspecting thieves got away with, Aliu Sohna said the amount could in fact be up to 300,000 Gambian dollars.
Bitik bi yaga na fi family shop la moy boutique Ousseynou ak Assane, you know, dafa hat mashallah way fogg na ñu bari xam nañ about bitik bi te dañ di am I jafe-jafe yu bari. Jafe-jafe yi li ci uppa moy affaire yi sàcca bi sonal nañu torop waye bu ren bi mom dafa uppa ndax ñun sax xamuñ ñaata la nañ ne over 200,000 but it could go up to 300 because so gisee video bi nga gis mbuus bu mu jël in hard currencies xam nañ ne Gambia right now 200 note yu mo gëna nekk di circulate, so that would tell you ne it's not a small money. We were unfortunate dañ walk out realize suñ ko be fona around 5 Assane mo ton ci gannaaw rek gis bagam baa ngi ibeeku xaalis yaa ngi daanu mu ne waaw kan moo ibi suma bag bi ñu ne ibi bag man bàyyi den sa nekkuma dama dem julli ma ñëw gis ñu ngi xool money playback affaire ma ne waaw ñu ne ma dañ ibi bag Assane bi dañ fa jël xaalis ma ne santa yàlla ko man la ma doon expect mooy mais bi borom daf ko ibi jël fa tuuti xaalis or something because xaw ma woon nu mu demee fekk suñu seet si lañ takkoon def ko si bag fekk another extra 200,000 plus mu ngi woon si bag bi but because of dafa yaakamti or whatever bu mu jëlee boobu gars yi dañ walk away. So gis si vidéo bi bu gars yi doon génn man maa nekkoon si bunta bi maa leen may sax yoon bu gars yi doon génn but by then xamuñu woon nu mu demee, so noonu la. You can see here bitik bi dafa tight soo seetee si vidéo bi Assane Ousseynou mu ngi taxaw beneen jigéen baa ngi taxaw si gannaawam mu ngi sol kaala bu mag firi ko keneen ki mu ngi toog. You can tell if somebody is sitting very low pour keneen nekk feneen mun a xam what's going on dafa difficult. I understand some people would be like da ngeen careless but that's not it. Si kum dal di nga xam ne is not careless because kenn du spend sa life yëpp what you work for ngay being careless about it kenn du def loolu noonu.
As the market gets busier by the day for Eid preparations, thieves become more sophisticated in carrying out their plans, leaving us wondering if this was premeditated or a crime of opportunity.
Oye premeditated mun naa ko oye something different tamit because da nga gis ne soo xoolee vidéo bi saa bu moo wéree si gannaaw Ousseynou am na piis bu tegee fii piis boobu la jël mu dugal ko si ron kaalaam bi mu toog. It could be premeditated, it might not be because bu mu toogee fii da nga gis ne soo toogee nii certain things soo toonee sa fii certain things would be visible. It could be premeditated, it could be ne dafa toog mu gis bag bi and get tempted. So
this opportunity
why exactly mu jël the opportunity man loolu laa feel because su nekkoon ne premeditated she would want to walk away with everything possible waaye bu amee benn mbuus boobu noonu dafa delloowaat bag bi waaye dafa yaakamti woon pour génn or whatsoever but noonu la fa demee. Yeah.
Aliu Sohna urged his fellow businessmen to be more vigilant and pleads with the members of the public to be reporting people or activities that might look suspicious to them. Aliu Sohna also asked the help of the public in identifying the women seen in the surveillance footage.
Everybody ñoo xam ne ñu ngi operate si business sector bi pour ñu vigilant, especially at this time of the year. Mostly do they nekk somebody you expect ne moo ko def because you know su nit duga say dress good look good laajte good stuff li nga jaay dafa easy pour mu operate ni mu buggee te su dee dafa xat ba nga xam ne nii ku nekkaa ngi busy doing something because if you so imagine a store like this ñu am like maybe 5 jaaykat like 10 people walked in you would see ne di nga am 5 extra people yoo xam ne duñ occupy like nobody would be talking to them because benn nit nga mën a waxal at a time. So da nga gis ne ku ñëw pour yaaxal la opération am dafa simple because affaire yaa ngi xat ku nekk ngi am lu moo def.
For TFN News, I am Sadio Brito.
Tough Africa Global is proud to launch the Moria Gardens, conveniently located in Bruford, 5 minutes off the Bruford Highway. Moria Gardens is set to comprise of 20 fenced and gated service plots with sizes ranging from 264 to 420 meters square. Unique features include water and electricity infrastructure, solar street lights, all-weather roads and scenic gardens. We offer a 10-year mortgage plan with a 25% equity down payment in partnership with GT Bank, Trust Bank and EcoBank. For more information, please contact 376-2333 or 776-2333 or visit our offices at Madiba Mall at Taft Bruford Gardens, opposite 5-Star Hotel.
Welcome back. Now, a foundation that was set up by those who formed Intake 12 of the Gambian Army donated food items to the families of the fallen or their fallen comrades there. Madasengo reports.
12 Intake 1992 Foundation was formed by soldiers a year ago to help the family of their fallen mates. These were the 12th batch of soldiers who were trained by the Turkish Gendarmerie. Basiru Sanyang, chairman of the foundation, gave us a synopsis of the foundation. Hence, this is their first donation.
12 Intake was formed about a year ago or so. And like the name implies, 12 Intake is a name that came from our badge mates. We are the 12th badge of the Turkish Gendarmerie training team. We are the 12th badge that got trained. In this badge, we were 82 members that joined the training together. Unfortunately, some of them did not pass out, and about 80 or 82 or 80 about passed out. Apparently, some of us have decided to go. So like I said, the name 12 Intake came because we were badge mates. We trained together from the Gendarmerie, and some of us left. So what happened was we came together to form a foundation, and this foundation is to be able to help one of us or amongst us or our fallen families, our fallen colleagues, their families. You will understand that out of 80, to have all of us in place now would be very difficult. So we have 7 of our families who are late now, and that's the family members that we have called, their wives and kids, to come and get this donation from us. So in a nutshell, 12 Intake was formed from a badge mate of 12 Intake batch that trained together in the Gendarmerie. So that is how it was all formed.
Country coordinator of the foundation, Musa Jallo, expressed his feelings seeing the family of his fallen colleagues.
Initially, I felt very, very, very sad indeed. Definitely, looking at the families, it's just like I am seeing my fallen soldiers, and that way definitely it is the saddest day for me. But in another hand also, I am very happy seeing my brothers and sisters from Netherlands listening to me and then bringing such a wonderful gesture, handing it over to the family of my fallen soldiers. Definitely, I am very, very proud and then very happy also in another way. So definitely.
The foundation promised to be doing this initiative more often. For TFN News Review, I am Mati Senghor.
Thank you and welcome back. So my guest today will be Nene Gomez. She's the national coordinator of Home of Medical Missions in the Gambia. So this is a foundation or an organization that wants to build a medical facility, healthcare center in the country. But their land is where the police anti-crime unit is currently occupying. But what much is also known is that that is the land that the government is planning to give to the OIC. That is where they want to build the multi-million-dollar hotel, the 5-star hotel that's been touted. But then the organization doesn't want this. Because they obtained a high court judgment and they want their land. So she's here to talk to me about that. Nene, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Lamin, for inviting me.
This land has been a subject of much problem. I mean, since when Jammeh was here, those who owned the land were asked to leave the country. The land was taken back. Now, when Jammeh fell, your team came back and you obtained this high court judgment. But still, you can't have this land back. Tell us, what is really happening in respect of this land?
Well, yeah, and Lamin, you're right about that. I'm the country director of the NGO, the organization. And of course, I mean, people that have been following the events of this organization, in 2010, Jammeh, I mean, just abruptly, unceremoniously, asked them to leave the country. It was already an existing hospital that was serving the citizens. It was fully furnished. People were using the services of the organization of the hospital in Bijilo. So when that happened, of course, they were detained in the NIA, you know, and then the US, because they're US citizens, of course, Koreans, but US citizens, intervened. They were sent back after 3 days of detention at the NIA. So at the end of the day, there was no time for any inventory to be taken or the stuff, the equipments at the hospital to be taken out or whatever. Mind you, this was about $1.5 million worth of stuff, you know, in there. So basically everything was abandoned at the place. So it was locked up for some time. Later on, you know, because of the size of the place, the convenience of the place, the Green Boys of the former president, Yahya Jammeh, occupied the place. So they lived there until after 2016, 2017, when Jammeh left. So when they left, of course, when this new administration came into place, they were taking back Jammeh's property. Their own thinking was that is Jammeh's property. That's what they thought. So they evicted the Green Boys, and then later on, the anti-crime unit occupied the place. So during that time, the first trip that this administration did to New York, okay, they met the owner. That was Dr. Lee. I mean, he's late now, and may his soul rest in peace. They had conversation. Of course, the guy was traumatized what happened and did not really want to come. But of course, he had vision, he had interest, he had this love to help the people of the country in a very specific area that the country needs help in, that is the healthcare system, because that's what they do. So fast forward, they talked and here and there, and then letters were exchanged. Yes. Okay, so the mission, the team decided, okay, to come back. So they came to the country, we had meetings and met with different stakeholders, Minister of Health, the then Minister of Health, you know, Safilo, we met with Aissatou Toure, we met with Dr. Samate, we met with Minister of Education, Haya Badara, we met with Batambedu, then the Justice Minister, I mean, the Secretary General. So we met with almost a lot of people, Minister of Fisheries, Minister of Energy, because again, this project entails a lot of things. There is an educational part where a school will be an allied health, plus the, you know, outpatient and inpatient hospital, diagnostic side, a whole lot of things. If you look at the plan, it's like a holistic plan that the organization planned on doing. So basically, that structure that you see there was just the first phase of implementation, and then the other phases were supposed to be done before that, you know, sacking or, you know, unceremonious sacking happen. So that's where. So when we engage, when this government showed interest that, okay, it was a good thing and we are sorry, they apologize for what happened, yeah, what Jammeh did to you, you guys can come back, let's resume, and we work together because we're interested. So that happened, the interaction started happening, exchange of letters, we had series of meetings and all that. So, but then down the line, you realize there was some kind of change of mind. They realized, oops, okay, we are committing to something that maybe we're not ready to do. So when the resistance and everything else started lacking, it's like everything that they've been saying or writing, they're not even implementing or enforcing. Okay, we had the advice, okay, you know, because they were the ones that told us that they cannot give us possession because it is part of the Jammeh Commission. It's all Jammeh properties are part of the Jammeh Commission. We sought the services of a legal practitioner who we did the search and realized it was not part of the Jammeh Commission. It was not included. We did a search and realized the lease was still in the name of the organization. It's a lease land. We also realized that, you understand, the lease was still in the name of the organization and it was still ours. So for some reason, I don't know, you know, somebody must have missed something, you know, in everything that they were doing. So we reached out to them and said, this is what is happening. This is what you told us, but actually the records and everything else shows different. So can we have it back and start operation? But mind you, during all that time, the team was still coming to the Gambia and doing mobile services, mobile clinics in all the provinces like the Quinala, the Birkama, the Kembuji, all that thing. So that was ongoing, okay? So when we started that, but still there was resistance. So we thought, okay, we were advised that, okay, let's go to court to seek permission, redress, and then get the permission. And then we went to court, okay? When we went to court, then then that's when they manifested their resistance to giving back the property. the trial, it was a full trial because they brought in witnesses to court. You know, I was the one representing the organization. They brought in witnesses who testified, but they were not able to establish reasons why they would take the property back. So at the end of the whole trial, we won the case. We got a judgment for the property to be given back to us, and then they were fined $25,000 or whatever, $25,000. Which they never paid. Okay, and then the sheriff, there was writ of possession. The sheriff wrote to all the parties involved. That's the Minister of Justice, the Inspector General of Police, of course, you know, Interior, and all the parties involved for them to give possession. Okay, and then they never did. But then the challenge that the sheriff told us that, okay, when they do evictions, it's the police that help them to do evictions. But now this is a matter of evicting the police, and the police
evicting police.
Exactly. They have written to the Inspector General of Police to help them to evict, because they are taking it, they don't even know who's there. Basically, they write to the Inspector General of Police to give them men to go and effect the eviction, but the police was not willing to do that. And this was since 2019. So we went back to the High Court, okay, and then again, we prevail against them. We got a judgment and here and there. Now they were reminded again to do that. Now at this point in time, they came back and say, oops, okay, even though you got the judgment at the magistrate court, we went to the High Court, you also got that. At the High Court, they conceded. They came and said, okay, they don't have a case to answer. They conceding that, okay, the property is ours, it's the organizations. There is nothing for them to fight against. So a judgment was issued again. So after the judgment, then they came back and say, oh, in fact, you guys are not a legal organization registered in the country, so you were not even entitled to have that lease. Remember, they're the ones that issued the lease.
Is that the case? But they issued the lease, but was it the case that you are not registered in the country?
No.
You are legally registered in the country?
Of course. It's a legally registered NGO, corporation, and everything. But again, let's say, give them the benefit of it. Let's say we were not. Why would they give us the lease in the name of an organization that is not even registered in the country? You know what I mean? Think about it. Who is to be blamed there? You know what I mean? But even that's not the case. I'm just saying, let's say we give them the benefit of that. So now where we are right now, we have gone back to court after we got the high court judgment to say, okay, we need the property because we shipped containers to do the renovations, the project to get started and all that thing, but there is a resistance. Then we realized that, okay, there is an interest. And the interest was they had this investor they were talking to. At the time, it was not 100 million. It was about, I think, $72 million that the investor was going to give to the government to build a hotel on the property. Then they will use it. And then by then we were thinking the OIC was going to happen in 2019, but it did not happen. Yes. So now they're planning for 2022. So the investor, the agreement they had with the investor, according to them, which is on record, okay, that the investor was going to pay $72 million and then for a hotel to be built on the property. And they will use it for the OIC. I think OIC is about, what, 2-3 days? After the OIC, then the investor will continue to use it as a private hotel. Okay? I mean, they talk about all this government owns all the land in the country, government has right to take back.
We'll come to that. Let me take you a little bit back. On the issue of police occupying the property, this came when there was a change of government in 2017. That was when the anti-crime was, set up. When they were being lodged at the compound, were you aware of this? Did you learn about that?
No.
You did not.
When they engaged
Where
us,
were your officials then? Because has been your land. You didn't do much. You didn't even know until people went there and occupied the place. State people went there and occupied it.
No.
Where were you?
Remember, I said to you that when the officials were sent out of the country, okay, then the Green Boys occupied the place. By then, Yaya Jammeh was still in the country. They never came back. The group never came back to the Gambia. So when this administration took office, that's when they evicted. They're the ones that evicted. It was the police, the paramedic that evicted the Green Boys from that property. So when they evicted the Green Boys, the anti-crime occupied the place. You get it? So basically, we had no interaction or engagement with the former administration, Yaya Jammeh, after we were shut down.
But when did you exactly find out that it was anti-crime who were occupying it?
When they engaged us to come back, when the mission started coming back, we had interaction, and then we requested to visit the place. That's when we realized that anti-crime was occupying the place.
Now you have a court judgment, but yet, I mean, anti-crime, that was a time I was, myself, I was working on this case. I engaged the police, and they were just about trying to move out, vacate the property. But that never happened. Today, anti-crime still lives in that compound.
Our engagements with the police, because the anti-crime is under the Ministry of Interior. We've had engagements with the Ministry of Interior, okay? Then that was Mbalo, is it Mbalo? Kinte Mbalo, the one that left before Sonko, Yankuba. And we've had engagements with Yankuba. I mean, Yankuba is a landed person and saw all the documentations, the court documentation, the correspondence and everything else, and said to us, I don't like it that my men are a subject of a dispute in court. I now know that they are, because they thought it was Yaya Jammeh's property, which is now this government's, under this government custody. But when they learned that that's not the case, he said, you know, I would love my men to move like today, because I don't want to, psychologically, I don't even think it's right for their name, anti-crime to be a subject of something that they don't own. So they will move today. But let me tell you, when he took that up to cabinet, they told him he should stay away from it. They will deal with it. But I can tell you my interactions with him and what he had told me, he has the willingness to vacate the property if possible, even today. And when he told me, I believed him. But I believe that other people are behind it who are saying, okay, this is not for you to decide. This is not your case. Leave it to us. We'll decide it because of other interests, vested interests, which we were able to find out. Because again, this is Gambia.
What are those?
And the vested interest is they have dealings with investors who are supposed to build this hotel there for their own gains. It's not the interest of the Gambia. Again, I'm sure if we have to do a poll right now and ask Gambians, what is your priority area? A hotel or a hospital? You know, you will overwhelmingly have Gambians tell you, we want a healthcare system, especially a proper healthcare system that can cater for our needs.
But the issue of the OIC is quite dear to the heart of President Adam Barrow. So how do you...
And you're talking about President Adam Barrow. How about the Gambians, the vulnerable people, the needy, the poor? We're the ones that elect Adam Barrow there. So Adam Barrow should be catering to our needs, not, you know, entrenching himself to cater for his own personal needs or his cabals. So that is very, very wrong. As an elected individual, you should serve our interests. I'm not saying the OIC is not important, because I've seen examples of countries where OIC did take place and the way those countries have been transformed. Senegal is our next door neighbor, you know, a case in point.
Do you want that to happen?
But do it the right way, you know. I had said it the last time. Why want to build a brand new infrastructure right now? That's not even a priority area, okay? I mean, that's your problem. We have so many dilapidated hotels. We have so many things that we need to invest in, you know. But then I bet, for me, I believe personally, that's not an area that will enrich them. That's not an area that can tap the most resources and kickbacks. This is one that really looks so lucrative that it's too good to let go, and they're just holding on to it. But again, I mean, this government have been talking about rule of law, you know, having an independent judicial system to do the right thing, and because those are all the things that they accuse the previous administration that they were not doing right. But they're the same ones. It's just a matter of talking by the mouth, but they're not living by it. If a court, especially a high court, you know, twice from the magistrate court, from the high court has, you know, made a judgment, why won't you, you know, see that that judgment is followed to the latter? Why would you be the very ones who are flaunting the law? You know, you have not paid the court costs. We had a 25,000 you're supposed to pay us, you haven't paid. You had a 50,000 you're supposed to pay, you haven't paid. You have a 500,000 you're supposed to pay us, you haven't paid. And yet still you have not given back the property. So everything else that we're supposed to do as an organization that will benefit Gambians, everything, me, you, our kids that are supposed to come, somebody is putting their foot on it. Is it a fair thing? I don't think so. And the people that I work with don't think it's a fair thing. Other countries are benefiting from this organization, you know, because it's working in other African countries. But then those people see the need to allow this organization to operate and help their citizens. We talk about citizens, you know, don't ask what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. This is one example that what citizens of the country want to do for the country, but one individual, two or three are putting their foot on it because of their own personal or selfish interests. Now, and that's why we want Gambians to know what is going on. Because a lot of times you'll be dealing with the government, they don't talk because they are very bad at communication. They're very, very horrible. And when they communicate, they even make more blunder. So it's important that citizens know what is going on. They know everything that is behind all these things, and they will be able to also decide for themselves what they want as citizens, because at the end of the day, it's us, the citizen. We have the power.
Now, this is some hodgepodge, but then let me ask you, because my worry here is, I mean, I've had the permanent secretary, Minister of Land, say all land belongs to the state.
I agree with that statement.
This is what he said just recently. And then we've also seen the communications director at the OIC saying all land belongs to the state.
Okay.
And now the state has set its eyes on this piece of land. They want it, and they want to build a hotel there. Where does that leave you and your organization? What are you going to do?
Let me tell you something. I agree with the statement that you say all land in this country belongs to the state. Okay? But if a piece of land is legally allocated to an individual, let's say now not even the organization, if a piece of land is allocated to you, I'm not a landed person, but as I read and I've been engaged in this issue too much that I know a lot right now where we stand. If a piece of land is allocated to you, it's leased in your name. Okay? Government cannot take that land and give it to another individual, you understand, when you have the same purpose, you understand, or same interest. Government can take it. That is what the Land Act, because it's in the Constitution and it is in the Land Act. The Land Act. No, hold on.
Government is taking this on behalf of this.
No, hold on. Let me land. The government can take your land individual and put it out for a community use, because a community is bigger than an individual.
How about the OIC?
You understand?
Is it not community, state matter?
No.
What do you think?
No.
I think so.
No, it is not. No, but okay, this is, they're hiding behind the OIC. I think you missed the point. They're hiding behind the OIC. This is beyond the OIC. But then this is an individual they're giving it to, who is an investor, a private investor.
But do you realize that the OIC is contingent upon infrastructure? That has to be in place in order, for example, to get the King of Saudi to fly to Gambia. You have to have the proper
But is that the only property? The government has vast land.
If you don't have that,
Land, remember, since the IJML left, how many buildings have you seen going on in places that have been reserved for 20, 30 years and say it's TD8, you know, tourist developmental area, it's reserved land, nobody can use it. But you've seen that everything has been sold.
Yes.
You understand? So why there are so many properties, so many vast land, empty lands that are available that you can go identify, that you don't have to infringe on anybody's right and use it. But why put your eye on that particular one? Let's ask ourselves, especially it's a property that already has a structure. It's going to be demolished.
Do you think they are unfairly targeting you?
Of course.
What are you going to do now?
It is evident. Well, we believe in the justice system, because we went to court and then they've issued, and then we've been putting pressure as well. We're not relenting. We're still pursuing the case. As we speak, the case is in court. And then the two matters that are in court is one, we are seeking for damages because it's been too long when we got the judgment and the property has not been given to us. And like I said, we shipped in stuff to do the renovation. A lot of things has to, were damaged, of course, especially paints and certain type of cements that are not available in the country. They all got back. That was money, and that's not money that they are paying for us. And again, so we're seeking for damages. The other case is the Mandemos case, that is for the court, to prevail upon them to really give back the land. Everything, the documentations were there. They came in court and said, okay, we concede. They wrote back at one point in time, they wrote to us to tell us that the lease has been revoked. But again, they did not even do it the right way. Even the notice to tell us they were going to revoke it, it was not gazetted. They did not follow any procedures. They were just somebody sit at the office and giving directives to their subordinate to write letters and execute and do things. So when we went to court, they realized everything that they did was wrong. They came to court and conceded, okay? They have not reverted, they've not corrected those things, but then they just felt that, okay, government owns all land, you understand? But there is a caveat to that. Government owns all land, but then, if you cannot take a land from a private individual, you cannot deprive them of their citizenry right and take it for your own selfish interest or whatever. That is not going to serve the purpose of interest of people. No, that's not what the law says. We have a constitution with the supreme law of the land. So I don't think that law is beneath anybody. The law is above all of us as Gambians, and the president inclusive.
So what are you going to do now? Should the government take this land from you? What are you going to do?
I don't believe they can, because I believe in the judicial system. My organization believes in the judicial system, and that's why we've been following the due process to ensure that the law takes its course, and we are still pursuing. So, and we believe at the end of the day, the right thing will be done. That's what my organization believes, and that's what I believe. So we don't believe they can just take it. I mean, there could be negotiations which they are not doing. You understand? There could be negotiations for other things, but those things, we haven't even reached to that. All we feel that we are being disadvantaged, we are being targeted, and they're doing something that is not right.
So I mean, just a few weeks ago, what we've seen the signing of the contract for the hotel. I mean, they've done their, well, identification of the land. They've signed this 100 million US dollars deal. Now, since from that time to now, what have you done in terms of reversing this? Because clearly they are pressing ahead. I know you are saying that the court case is still going on, but did you try to meet the government again to talk to them?
No, I don't think it is our duty to meet them because
as far as your property.
No, okay, yeah, hold on. I don't think it is our duty to meet them because this is our property. We own it. They want it. They should come and meet us and talk to us about how they can legally obtain the property to do whatever they want to do. They're not doing that. But in the absence of that, we are still pursuing with what you're doing. Our project is ongoing. Work is ongoing. We've been given permission, access to the property, and we've been going there to carry on what we want to do. Okay? I mean, whatever they're going to do, I don't know. So let's see, my question is for you and I or Gambians to ask, is this government above the law of the land? Because if a judgment is obtained in court, any court, only another judgment, it's only the court that can set aside the judgment. I don't think you can do it, any minister can do it, or the president can do it. It's the court again, my little knowledge tells me. But so if they want to set that aside, I don't think they can forcefully ignore or blatantly flaunt the law. Let them go back to court. I think that's what a responsible individual or a responsible government or administration will do. So that's what we enjoin, that's what we tell them to do, so that they will not, because a lot of precedents has been set. But then again, it's not everything that you're going to get away with.
Do you feel disappointed at all? By
absolutely.
By the
yet again, this is not one of it. Yet again disappointed. Because, you know, the government needs to start walking the talk. You don't only talk, but practice it, you know, practice it. You don't cherry pick. Certain things you think the law should apply, but certain things you think, oh, you know what, even if the law applies, we're not going to follow it through.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Did you try to seek help from organizations, from individuals, really to help you in making sure that you don't lose your land? Did you do that?
So when you say organizations, like what example? Can you be more? Can you elaborate more?
Since you're talking about right, that this is your right, did you try to reach out to organizations that specialize in advocating for the rights of citizens, for example?
Well,
it could even be individual.
Well, I think that will be necessary later on if we've exhausted all, you know, judicial. All the judicial side of the matter, then you might want to, you know, look at what to do next. Yeah. But right now, something that is in court, you know, I mean, they're out there signing papers, doing everything else when they don't have legal possession of the property. Right now, as we stand, as I'm speaking to you today, we are the legal owners and we have legal possession. There's a writ of possession, everything, all the documentations are there to show that it's ours and we can do whatever we want to do with it.
Now, let me also ask you this, because I think that is also very important. We've seen organizations in this country who would acquire land, space, and say, okay, we are going to put this here, when in fact they don't have the resources, the money. That is very important. A hospital and all the stuff that it goes with, that is expensive. Do you, your organization, Home of Medical Missions, do you have this? Do you have the capacity to really build a hospital, the kind of hospital that you want to build in that hospital and all the resources that goes with it? Well, do you have it in your hands? Because I think that is also very important. That is what also, because what government would hate to see is for them to give you back the land, and the land will sit there for the next 50 years. There will be no movement.
Let me tell you what, this has started we went to court in 2019. The negotiations started 2017, 2018, their first trip, like I told you earlier on in New York. We got the first judgment in 2019, okay? If access was given at the time, by now we wouldn't be talking about this, because we would have been operational by this time. Remember, I'm not telling you it's a mere land. These are structures that we built at the tune of $1.5 million at a time. And it has dilapidated. A lot of work needs to be done. And I've told you, containers were shipped of goods and stuff. When we obtained the judgment, thinking, okay, now we're going to start work and renovate and start operating, you know, and we didn't have access. We lost a lot of resources in terms of that, not having access. But notwithstanding, I told you that the team had been coming. We've been doing mobile clinic. Yeah. I mean, we've done several cataract surgeries in this country. We've done a lot of dental work. We've done a lot of medical work during this time. They've had several trips, which the Ministry of Health is aware of, because we partner with them. So this is all complementing government effort. Regardless of the challenges we're having, that has not stopped our efforts, the goodwill that we have for the country to make sure we cater for the needs of the citizen in terms of in the healthcare system. So the question of whether we have the capacity or we're going to really further our vision, I think that's a non-starter. We have manifested, we have demonstrated every possible means of that. This is what we want to do, and we're going to do it once all those hindrances are taken care of.
Do you have any other thing to say on this?
Well, what I want to say to end is, like, I mean, this is a new administration, and a lot of things they've fallen short on, and they don't want this to be also part of their list. The list is long. Instead of trying to remedy it, they don't want to add on the list. This is for Gambians. The government, we know, just a few days ago, we saw the video of the nurses bitterly complaining, and you and I know those things are true. Okay, so now if you don't have the capacity, I don't believe that they don't have the capacity, because it's just a matter of mispriority. They're not prioritizing the healthcare sector. So if you're not doing that, you have other interest areas. Now you have citizens who are bringing goodwill to say, okay, we will help you in that area. You should embrace it. You should embrace it with open arms to help further your developmental agendas. But only a responsible government will do that. So I just enjoin on this government to smell the coffee, and few months to elections, try to do the right thing for once. For once, for God's sake, for the sake of citizens, for the sake of the needy.
Nene, before I let you go, I mean, you are into politics too. Nene is many things. Nene
do we have to talk about politics?
I mean, you are not here to talk to us in your heart or in your capacity as CA spokeswoman, but I mean, you are into politics. I mean,
yes.
You've been traveling around the country. What have you been saying? I mean, elections is just around the corner. What have you been saying?
I've seen that 56 years people still give birth on a donkey cart. 56 years, I see that people still drink water that looks like water from the gutter. 56 years, I still see that people walk 9 miles, 15 miles to have access to a road to go about their business. So a lot has not changed. A lot is there to be desired for.
What would you like to see in December?
I mean, I want to see somebody elected, somebody who's not there for themselves, and a leader that is not position oriented, a leader that is not power or hungry, a leader that is empathetic, a leader that is influential, a leader for the people, a leader that has love for the country, because love is about everything. It's not a matter of ko xamne dafa xiif, you understand? Ku xiif duñ ko ne raxasul. So ñun gis ñu jité right now dañ xiif. So moo tax ko si ne raxasul mu foog ne yow da nga dof. So loolu lay ñaan ne December bii nii people will I believe the people are awoke now, because when you go there and talk to people who were tachu features,
but I don't think so. This is what I don't agree with a lot of people. Really, the enigma that is the Gambian. I mean, people are talking about all this. You and I are frustrated. We think that President Adama Barrow cannot do this job, right? But yet you have thousands and thousands.
I don't think he cannot do the job. I don't think he cannot do the job. I know
that he can do the job.
I know he cannot do the job because he has manifested, he has demonstrated that he cannot do the job. There are thousands of evidence.
That's what I'm saying. That is your conviction. That is what you believe in. That is what someone else believes in. That is what I believe in. But what I'm saying is you have a lot of people out there who also think that this president is doing a wonderful job, and clearly they are going to put him in power.
But Lamin, I still, in as much as when I have conversations.
How do you reconcile that?
When I have conversations with people, a lot of people will tell you that, oh, I don't matter win at and things like that. See,
I said it.
Exactly, you said it.
And a lot of people have been insulted.
And I disagree with you.
I
totally disagree with you.
It's just a prediction. Let's see what December will come.
Exactly. I totally disagree with you for the simple reason.
I could lose. I mean, he could lose. Clearly, that is.
And he will. I'm here to tell you that.
Could happen.
This is news from me. Take it from me. He will. Trust me. Your prediction is wrong. Maybe you might go back and revisit the characteristics, you understand, your parameters that you use to make that prediction, and do another prediction. It's wrong.
December will make things clear. In Madinga, you know what they say? They said Nisi mem famu somati. Amam binakala sumansi, like a cow that is going to be slaughtered tomorrow. There is no need to measure the horns. Yes.
I mean, December is just around the corner. So but I don't like it. For me,
win or lose, a prediction is just prediction.
No, but I don't even like it.
It is not like a fact.
I don't even like it, you understand?
Yes,
when
yes.
people even have a thought of President Barrow could win or
Yes.
will win. Because at the end of the day, they tell you, Yanga, if you put in your head that yellow is green, yellow is green, yellow is green, at some point in time you're gonna believe in your own self that yellow is green when that's not the fact. And you also tend to influence other people around you to believe that yellow is green when that's not the fact. You understand? Let's say it as it is. You understand? President Barrow has made so many blunders that he is not worthy of that seat again, even another day after December 4th. But then what I wanted to say is, the campaign or the election, the hype is not only social media and within the combos here, the Birkama and Banjul, and KM. When you go and meet people where they are, you will realize that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, the things that, entice them, the things that, push them to vote, they were voting for, has changed. And for me, I believe them, because when you go there, there's certain people, you talk to them. Of course, Gambians are funny. They can flip like, a bad weather.
Well, so
I'm
glad you are seeing that too.
Yeah, I'm not naive of that fact. Yes. I am not naive of that fact.
Yes.
I am not. But then you go and talk to people, you look at them in the eye, they pour their heart to you, realize that it's coming from a genuine place. And they're not ready to make those mistakes yet again. And that's why I believe that there will be change in December.
In December. He's in Sierra Leone, and people say he walked off the red carpet. You have now people saying he was standing, sleeping, and critics pounced on this. You were part of those people who mocked him, right?
No, actually, I saw it, but I did not make any comment about it. But of course, if you ask me right now, I have an opinion. I think the protocols, in as much as some people say, oh, you left the red carpet to talk to your people or whatever. Why would you show that you love your people in Sierra Leone? When you leave your people here dying, you don't utter a word. You have a hospital that people are dying every day. You didn't go to visit them. You didn't show the love in the people in your home. And you go to Sierra Leone, you want me to believe that you love your people, and that's where you're going to show it. So for me, that's water under the bridge. So that was just a blunder that he did. But he did not know, you understand, like many other blunders that he keep on doing. So the people around him need to really orient him some more, teach him some more. When he goes out of the Gambia, let him at least upheld the dignity of Gambians and of the Gambia for at least a little bit when you're out there. When you come in the country, continue to do your blunders and hide behind, I don't know.
When he stood among his equivalents, was he sleeping? People say he was standing
I
there.
believe he was sleeping.
No, I don't think so.
Well, okay, that's you. I believe he was sleeping because again, it cannot be, a repetitious thing every time you sit there. You say you close your eye, you close your eye. You're not sitting down for God's sake. You were standing on your feet.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Why would you close your eyes and you know that cameras are right in front of you?
No, but some people say it was photoshopped. Though some people are.
Oh no! It's not. It's not. Okay. Me and you were on the media a lot. We've been seeing pictures and here and there. Not claiming to be an expert on those things, but when something is photoshopped, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell, definitely. You can tell. So that was a real somebody who was about to doze off, and I don't know if he was like, hey, look out. And then he went right up again. But he needs to do better, So, most of President Barrow fans, they don't see the bigger picture because they think they love Barrow. Their own definition of love. So they try to defend. But they're not doing justice to the man. They need to tell him the truth, and they need to accept where he makes mistakes, and so that he can see himself and correct it. But if you have the people surrounding him, because I'm sure he doesn't hear me and you talk, very, rarely. But then the people that he hears all the time are the ones who are supposed to tell him, hey, man, look up. This is what is happening. You need to do better. Do it this way. Then he will learn. But if they're around him and say, oh, itele ni so far, itele kolke, be beta yatale, awa. So he thinks he's doing good. So he says he's not going to do well.
That is the problem of Gambians, really. That is why I find it really, difficult.
It's all about position, Lamin. Position, which doesn't take you anywhere. At the end of the day, we need to change the attitude. We need to change the attitude. Look at Nanyala.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Lamin.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nene was my guest today. Nene Freda Gomez was my guest today to talk about their land, the land in dispute there. Before we end this show, I have a last report for you, Olala. This is an organization that at the weekend organized a cleaning exercise in Senegambia. Mati Senghor tells us more.
Olala Spa on Sunday organized a cleansing exercise at Senegambe to clean the tourist site with its partners as part of their quota in national development. Manager of the spa, Pasliman Bokum added that cleanliness is an essential quality to live a healthy life.
Today, the 25th of April 2021, we've embarked on our set setal. We've started at the Senegambe checkpoint here at the roundabout. So that's where we started, and then we're planning to end it at the Kairaba, at our locations at the Kairaba Hotel. We're trying to make our community clean. So it's part of our social responsibilities to engage in these community services in terms of helping the needy, because during this month of Ramadan, we have helped a lot of mosques, a lot of needy people in terms of rice, sugar, and others also we have given them cash.
Two of their partners, Zion Bakery and Jatus Bakery, also participated and donated some food items.
We can do a very important cleaning in the environment here in Senegambia, because Senegambia is the prime area where everybody comes, especially tourists. But when we came here, we saw very disappointment. It was so dirty. There are some places that are very clean, and I'm impressed with those places, and some are really, really terrible. But we try our best to support and clean as much we can.
So si bakery bu ñu nekk nii ñu ngi kontaan lool jàppale community bi ak tey bu ñu ñëwee fii nii si cleaning bu ñu nekk di def nii kontaan nañ lool.
Olala Spa promised to be doing this more often as cleanliness is next to godliness. For TFN News Review, I am Mati Senghor.
For being there. We'll be back next week. Until then, goodbye.